Professor Mears, and this is Moonshot. We are the crypto news authority. We are the authority because we report the news objectively and from a diverse body of research. On this program, we examine alternative economics, culture, politics, and society through a cryptocurrency lens. The world is rife with economic issues today that are affecting the cryptocurrency phenomena. Our first economic segment concerns the crypto in crisis storyline. The mainstream press has been reporting the denouement of crypto here in the United States because crypto prices are bottoming out. Bitcoin has been holding steady at around $6,000, but altcoins are getting brutalized. Some argue that the ICO format is dead and the new ISO offerings will thrive in 2019 because ICO tokens are merely coupons, while ISO tokens are in fact securities or shares of the actual company. Our second economic segment today concerns Chinese hackers. After a government crackdown on cryptocurrency exchanges earlier this year, Chinese authorities were able to identify 3 crypto hackers hailing from China who were charged with stealing 600 million yuan, which is close to $82 million USD.
Not again.
While those economic stories are significant for cryptocurrency markets because of the almost 2 billion people living in China and the United States, so are the cultural stories we are learning about. The world is rife with cultural issues today that affect the cryptocurrency phenomena. Our first cultural story concerns blockchain and pornography. Pornhub will begin paying viewers in cryptocurrency. The porn industry has ushered in many media advancements historically, such as the proliferation of home video technologies in the 1980s. So it is no surprise that the porn industry will harness blockchain technology to increase margins or incentivize viewership and user loyalty. The Huffington Post in the past has reported that nearly 30% of all internet data is porn related. Therefore, blockchain assimilation is likely inevitable in this industry. Our second cultural story also concerns blockchain and the healthcare industries. A food safety firm named Zago has utilized blockchain tech to track the usage of deadly chemicals in foods. In a Monsanto lawsuit, the company identifies harmful herbicides in their foods as the cause of human cancer and traces the usage of these herbicides with blockchain systems. While those cultural stories are significant for crypto enthusiasts because of the 50 million estimated crypto users worldwide and the billions of humans unknowingly affected by blockchain advancements, so are the political stories we are learning about today. The world is rife with political issues today that affect our cryptocurrency phenomena. Our political stories this week concern crypto and the Saudi government. BitOasis, a cryptocurrency exchange available in the UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, and Saudi Arabia, is operating despite the recent Saudi ban on crypto exchanges. The Dubai-based cryptocurrency exchange revealed that it is working with regulators from the Gulf Cooperation Council to develop regulatory frameworks. While those political stories are significant for cryptocurrency enthusiasts because of the legitimacy of those bans and the governing bodies at play, so are the social stories we are learning about. The world is rife with social issues that affect the cryptocurrency phenomenon. In studio today, we have Mike McCoy with the Y Center in Philadelphia to discuss blockchain and social impact issues. So we're here with Daria Pujara and Mike McCoy of the Y Center in Philadelphia. They're doing a blockchain and social impact curriculum, an educational platform. Guys, can you tell us a little bit about the Y Center and what you're doing there?
Hi, yeah. So, by the way, thanks for having us here. It's fun to be here. I'm Daria Pujara, founder CEO for Y Center. We are a global experiential education company. What we do is we create hands-on education programs for people to learn about how to create impact and solve real-world problems. And Mike is working here on blockchain, and just a couple of months ago we met in Philadelphia with the context of there's so many issues around in the city and what's one of the ways we can get there, and he's certainly looking at blockchain as a way to solve some of these issues. And at Y Center we care about problem solving irrespective of any medium, and that's how Mike and I came together here at Y Center to create our next blockchain for social impact program in Philadelphia for the US and possibly for the world.
And a lot of this comes from, I actually came from Consensus, which is the world's largest blockchain incubator using the Ethereum protocol. And in there, in the different teams I was working on, I helped build curriculum for Consensus Academy as well. So I'm taking a lot of the lessons I learned from there and applying it in for values of social impact, specifically for global impact, actually. So our curriculum is going to be distributed actually in the United States, Africa, and India, so that we can kind of have a world view of how people can use these applications for the greater good. There's so many different use cases, whether it's supply chain management, whether it's in healthcare data transparency, or whether it's in real estate and the value of any type of property, just the value of digital assets as a whole. We're going to show people through our curriculum, luckily, how to be able to use these applications in their daily life, as well as how to be able to just learn about what blockchain truly is. Kind of going into the demystifying of it, showing distributed ledger technology and how that works with consensus mechanisms to really get it all working together. It's not as hard as people may think, and we're going to try and make it a little bit easier for them.
So that's interesting because you do have some buzzwords in there that that are topical and people are really trying to grasp, like consensus and on the blockchain. Can you talk a little bit about how that relates to your curriculum?
So a buzzword of consensus and all that. What distributed ledger technology is pretty much a track. Think of anything from a ledger perspective, right? A ledger is pretty much actions that are listed on a list, or it could be plus or minuses like a checkbook. Once you take those physical assets that we see every day in the world, like me starting my car, me paying for gas, me paying for my bills, me doing anything, and you connect it into a digital platform like online or any type of web protocol, and it's a digital ledger for yourself where you can be able to see your actions being spanned across over time. So it legitimizes your actions in the digital world.
And to add to that, Ron, this is very much similar to how it sounded back in the 90s when we talked about internet, HTTPS, and email, and we said those are buzzwords. So maybe they're buzzwords today, and I always feel the buzzwords for today are reality for tomorrow, and that's exactly what we are working on.
That's a great point. So can you talk a little bit then about the curriculum itself and the nuts and bolts of that? Like, how does somebody participate in your curriculum, get involved in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I can start a little bit on that, and I would love Mike to add more on this.
Absolutely.
But the most basic way of doing this to reach more people and make it more accessible, we are using an online platform we created at Y Center. We call it EPIC, standing for Experiential Platform for Innovation and Creativity.
Cool.
So we're going to be distributing our online blockchain program through this online platform so we can reach more people. And besides that, we will also double it up with a lot of offline events happening in Philadelphia, such as your own community that you are looking to create here. We want to combine our online programs with an access to an offline community. So there's a real component about meeting people and innovators in this space. And you're not just doing it alone, sitting in your apartment and trying to create a cryptocurrency, which has no meaning for anyone in the world. So the goal is combining the online learning resources with an access to an offline community. And that's how we plan to distribute the program worldwide.
Yeah, here in Philadelphia particularly, I mean, we're a majority city, and we are a very poor populated city as well. Especially in regions like North Philadelphia and Southwest Philadelphia, we want to be able to get that offline community into our online premise and be able to show them what the digital world is kind of based on. And yes, we're going to have some technical deep dives into our curriculum, but we're also going to have human-centered design thinking. And what that truly means is being able to put all these technical terms in layman's terms, and it makes sense for people so they can use these applications and can be able to log in and learn the world of Web 3.0, right? And what the web is kind of influenced from back in the 90s and 2000s, it was you put out a platform, you see information. That's how Web 1.0 was. Yeah. Web 2.0 was being able to utilize data and configure that data into business types, like we have today with Facebook, Google, Amazon as the ones that are kind of leading the mark in that. Web 3.0 is users now having control of their data and how it's being spread out to other areas and different verticals. And so in learning this, we're showing you how you can have control of your data, how you can have control of where your digital footprint is going, and why that is important to you. And so that's the premise of what we're teaching people today. And it can be very impactful for Philadelphia, because as a city right now, New York and San Francisco are obviously on a tier of its own as far as like startups, companies, and innovative ideas are concerned. But here in Philadelphia, we have a huge health tech hub as well as a social impact hub. And we also have a first world heritage city. So we have a population that actually matches a lot of the expanding globe. So with that, Philadelphia can be a beacon to be able to show how social impact or global impact technologies are built through blockchain and distributed ledger technology, and how we can use it not only in our city, but around the world as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you mentioned some different general like use cases. Do you have any specific successes or specific ideas where you might find success that you're going to undertake in the initial stages here?
So I'll touch upon a very cool case study about how distributed ledger technology can be used in US and in Africa. Exactly the same technology, completely two different scenarios. We've been working in Kenya for the last 2.5 years, working with farmers where they can use the open data to improve their agricultural practices. Now with blockchain, the farmers are not only able to employ the open data, but they're able to actually record their transactions, get access to market data in real time, which cannot be manipulated anymore because the power is in hands of people, not only the middleman who controls the supply chain. We're able to truly bring the power of supply chain to the manufacturer, which is farmer in this case, and the consumer who is buying this. Right now, the consumers have no awareness of how much the farmer gets paid. We do have some companies that do that. So that's one example of where we plan to impact and use blockchain. At the same time, I've recently met an entrepreneur, a Philly-based entrepreneur now doing global work, who is using blockchain, basically building a decentralized application where he's using that to verify online dating profiles. So I'm looking at exactly the same technology used to help people to meet their possible loved ones, and you're someone who's trying to grow better food and give access to healthy and nutritional food to someone. So exactly the same technology. And with Y Center, we want to cater to both the groups of people.
Yeah, and another example for social impact specifically is transparency in payments. In a lot of countries, in Africa in particular, the government is control of the distribution of money, and they control the banks and how they're able to and who they're giving wealth to. With cryptocurrency and with blockchain technology, on different platforms, I as a U.S. citizen be able to send someone in Africa a payment so they can be able to pay their rent, their land, their goods, their food, their water, whatever it is, right? That's one example. And then, for example, with new energy realms, there's companies like Power Ledger in Australia, Grid Plus based out of Texas, where people when they create new or solar energy, whether it's with solar, windmills, whatever, the original creator of that new energy gets their utility base down at least 50%, but then they distribute that energy to other users within the blockchain as well. So it not only supports their own individual bill, but it supports the community as well, and it distributes wealth, and it also gives everyone a cheaper bill. So those are little examples, but we're going to go into more deep dives in our curriculum of how that can truly prosper and benefit not only users, but communities too.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So let's say I'm a potential student of yours, what does the curriculum look like? What's the length of the curriculum, and how would I get involved if I wanted to?
So one of the easiest ways is you can sign up online. That's how our students find out about us and actually sign up for the program. And the best part about having that online component is you have the flexibility to learn when you want to. It's ideally a 1-month program, which is the recommended time to finish the program, reading all the course materials. We have videos in there. We have activities, so you can immediately apply your learning into action. Mostly we're looking at around 50 to 70 hours of how much a student would spend time in completing a 1-month course, which includes learning about it and actually putting it into action. But of course, what we are looking at is the most powerful component is them going outside, stepping outside their computers, meeting these people in these communities that Mike has been building, not just in Philadelphia, across New York City, Boston, Washington, DC. We want to bring that community experience to our online users. So a simple example would be someone in Philadelphia taking our program and loves and wants to know more about a particular ICO happening for a company in Philadelphia. They can now head to Crypto Hub right here and meet people who are doing that in real time and actually use their learning and connect the dots in real world. So I guess that's one of the best ways for a student to sign up. Even if you're a full-time student in a university, or you might be a young professional working in a company, you can learn it on the weekends. You don't have to do it every day. And we believe that makes it really flexible and accessible to everyone.
And especially with access, a lot of times now, people from older generations that are looking to get into new fields, I would say the blockchain crypto space has seen a lot of that. People 50 plus being able to learn these applications. They're towards the end of their careers and they want to learn a new skill in the community. What blockchain and distributed ledgers always do is it brings people together. It creates new forms of communities together. So you're not just bound by the community locally, right? So we're a Philadelphia community, right? But you can connect with people all over the world and still have similar interests in how that grows. We very much have a lot of barriers right now as far as how universities divide us, cities, states, just borders in general. This type of technology creates communities all over the world and shows that we don't have to have biases or different thoughts and different hate towards anyone else. We're all people. We're all working together, and this technology brings people together more than any other.
It's really amazing stuff, guys. Would you like to then conclude with one parting thought that you might share with us in terms of what you've learned thus far in your process of at the Y Center, and then in developing this curriculum, and any lasting thought that you might have for our viewing audience?
I would say what we found most is that we're trying to take a highly technical topic and being able to get into the hands of everyone, from my grandmother to someone that is halfway across the world. So that's really the mission in trying to bring as many people as possible. And it's tough at times because we want to be able to make sure that we are showing the legitimacy of the technology, but a lot of times we want to be able to make sense for mom and pop. So those are the challenges, but it's been rewarding to be able to tell our story and to be able to put this together has been really rewarding in my eyes.
Exactly, thanks. What I feel is at Y Center, we worked with open data before. We did some programs around artificial intelligence, and now blockchain. Now it sounds like we're catching up on all the buzzwords and creating programs around it. While we started working on blockchain specifically, everyone who found out that we are working on this suddenly started reacting in a way that, oh, that's amazing. So now you're truly going to solve all the problems. I think what we have realized is that blockchain is not going to solve all the problems. Let's just get it out there. There is a lot written about it that it's just going to solve all the world. There's no one going to be poor anymore. We don't need banks and everything's going to be decentralized. The voting is going to be, no, you still have, I think technologies don't solve problem, people do. And we have to understand this, and that's the focus with this program as well, with the blockchain for global impact. We are preparing the people to understand the technology enough, and it's really your choice and their choice to see how they can use it to possibly solve a problem, because it does have a potential. But after all, it's people's choice if they're using it to solve a problem or to create one.
That's really interesting. It reminds me of the story of the inception of fire, in that fire can be used for people of a community to prepare food and to keep them warm and to keep off critters at night. Yeah. But at the same time, if you use the fire wrong, it can burn your village down.
That's right.
So I think what you guys are doing is super important in terms of the social impact, because we want to make sure that companies who are using this new technology and smart thinkers at their early stages are putting their efforts towards something that impacts the globe in a very positive way, right? And with blockchain, there are the affordances and there are the constraints of the technology and of the actors in them. And to me, it's just a very interesting field. And I want to thank you guys for stopping by today to chat with us. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
While those social stories are significant for crypto enthusiasts because of the many lives affected, we'll conclude today on a lighter note by examining today's leading cryptocurrency. Drum roll, please. And the winner is PayPi, which is trading on Ether Delta, Fork Delta, and IDEX. In the comments below, please let us know your thoughts on this token and whether or not this is a real value change in the token or simply a ruse. We are the stewards of the crypto revolution, and it will be televised. We at Moonshot are the objective cryptocurrency authority. In conclusion, Earthlings, I'm Professor Mears, and this is Moonshot. Remember, we want to hear from you. What kind of crypto news content do you want covered? Please comment below. Make sure to visit our website, moonshotworldnews.com, and our app, Moonshot News, for 24-hour content, including a live feed of crypto market data updated in real time. We're on Facebook at Moonshot World News and on Instagram at Moonshot World News. If you are interested in web series production, expand the description below for a list of production equipment. We'll be back next week for more on the latest changes in the cryptocurrency sphere, and we'll take a deeper look into how crypto is affecting economics, culture, politics, and society at large. Come gaze into the telescope with us. This is your world.